Hi, this is Rich Brereton with another edition of Critical Minerals. I'm joined today by Rob Gray, the Chief Commodity Strategist here at Resource Capital Funds. Thanks for being with me, Rob. It's a big week here for markets in the United States and around the world. Wednesday is the so-called Liberation Day here in the US regarding tariffs. How do you see all this unfolding?
Well, I agree. It's going to be a big week. I think on Wednesday, what we'll learn is the degree to which Trump escalates uh, the reciprocality of tariff and trades and which industries he's going to focus on and to what degree. And for us at our RCF, what it means is we're gonna learn something around which markets are going to be impacted by the decisions that Trump takes and the direction of travel. And I think learning has benefit, and I think we just need to wait and see what comes on Wednesday. But it's going to be highly informative and will impact RCF tactical and strategic action going forward.
About a week or 10 days ago, we held our annual macro webinar for LPs. And during that conversation, Rob, you outlined a fairly dramatic change in the US policy toward China that might even have been missed by folks. Do you want to just comment on the point you were making?
Rich, I don't think U.S. policy towards China has changed. It's been bipartisan, for a number of presidencies for the last, probably about 10 years. That Chinese manufacturing and what it means for U.S. Economic activity is something that needs to be addressed, and it currently is being addressed. I think what's changed is Trump's brought a new approach to to how it might be addressed, and I think the world and us as investors we're interpreting what it means and how we react to this new approach. I think what's quite clear is the United States has set up by executive order, a new council for energy dominance. But what's interesting about that council is it's headed by the Department of Interior, so Doug Burgum, not the Department of Energy. So whereas you have the Department of Interior heading up that department, that just showcases how important metals and minerals is to future energy in the United States. So I think metals and mining investment is going to be critical to helping the Trump administration and the United States achieve its goals over the next few years.
I recall during the webinar that you hosted, you talked about the degree to which some of our allies may or may not find themselves as part of an instrument of those policies with regard to China. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes, certainly. I think one of the key uncertainties that'll be revealed or resolved in the next few weeks or months is the degree to which the Trump administration is going to involve its allies in addressing the critical minerals supply chain challenge. There's one view that it's America first, and Trump and the administration is going to put U.S. interests above that of its allies. And that would be challenging, because it is a very vulnerable position if the U.S. feels that it can go it alone without its allies. Personally, I'm hoping that the Trump administration will soften some of the rhetoric and look to its key mineral-rich allies, countries like Australia, like Canada, like Chile, like Brazil, not to leave anyone out, as well as some of the key manufacturing allies it has in Japan, South Korea, Germany, and you can go further from there. I think it's this resolution of whether Trump is serious about involving allies or not in a collective approach is, for metals and mining investment, the single most important uncertainty to be resolved over the next few months.
I think along those lines, in kind of summary, one of the most provocative statements I think you made back about a week or so ago was that the age of globalization may well be over. You want to
Yep.
wrap that up as we end here?
Well, look, I mean, it's not just my observation, Rich. Many are talking about how trade today, we're moving from an era of globalization to an era of localization. And for RCF, what this means is, well, localized manufacturing means that a number of countries around the world are going to have ready access to metals and mine material. And what's interesting is you can't move the mines. So if everyone's competing for manufacturing, that just means collective or aggregate demand for metals and mine material, goes up because everyone's trying to bring manufacturing for jobs and economic security back within their borders. So this is a profound development for global markets, particularly metals and mining investment, and it's evolving. So we don't know the answers today, but as we interpret what's happening, it is going to have an influence on RCF tactics as well as those markets we favor for future investment, as well as some markets that within existing funds we might think more fulsomely about accelerating exits.
Thanks for that, Rob. We'll all be keeping an eye on developments Wednesday and beyond quite carefully, and are certainly glad you're helping us to interpret that data as it comes in. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time here at Critical Minerals.